And not only is the U.S. planning to leave that INF treaty, but the U.S. is getting ready for this nuclear-armed World War III, as we'll see in my next article on RT.com titled, Trump Announces New Ground-Based Interceptors in Alaska, Radars, Sensors to Shield Every City. And you best believe this isn't just some coincidence that this news is coming out, with news coming out of the U.S. planning to leave that INF treaty. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced plans for 20 new ground-based interceptors to be placed in Alaska, which could shield every city in the country. And Alaska just happens to be the U.S. state closest to Russia and China. Speaking at the Pentagon on Thursday, Trump announced the details of a missile defense review undertaken by his administration. The new report outlines 6 major changes in the U.S.'s missile defense strategy, including the Alaska interceptors. Trump said the goal is for the U.S. to be able to terminate any missile launches from hostile powers or even from powers that make a mistake. America's defenses are no match for Russian hypersonic missiles, says retired U.S. general. And they won't be, because the Most High is going to put the spirit on these missiles to reach their targets without a hitch, and also put the spirit on these anti-missile defense systems to fail in that day so those missiles can reach their targets. This is a precept I always like to go to show that point. Joel chapter 2, I'm going to read verse 1 through 8. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand, and Jacob's trouble is nigh at hand. If you're keeping your eyes in the news and in these scriptures, you can clearly see something big is right around the corner. 2, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong, which is speaking of these nuclear missiles. There had not ever been the like, because this nuclear technology came around very recently, starting with those atomic bombs back in the 40s. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations, because after this nuclear destruction, the children of Israel, which use so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are going to destroy all these weapons of the heathens. A fire devoureth before them, those nuclear warheads, and behind them a flame burneth. That destruction. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. The land looks normal. And behind them a desolate wilderness and a radiated wasteland like that game Fallout. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their faces the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. When you look up that word blackness, it means a soot. Those people getting burned in that nuclear fire. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. Those nuclear missiles again. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks, because the Spirit's going to be on the Most High. The Spirit of the Most High is going to be on these missiles to reach their targets without a hitch. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. And that sword is referring to those anti-missile defense systems, such as the Patriot or the THAAD. What did this general just say? America's defenses no match for Russian hypersonic missiles. So again, all these missile defense systems are going to fail, and especially these planned defense systems in Alaska. Every city in the U.S. is not going to be shielded. They're going to swallow a nuke. The world is changing, and we're going to change much faster than the rest of the world. U.S. President declared, adding that the country could not simply build more of the same or make incremental improvements. And not just is the U.S. planning to build more anti-missile defense systems, but they're also planning that Space Force that y'all have all heard about. Trump also said that space would be recognized as the new warfighting domain, and that his previously promised Space Force would be leading the way. His upcoming budget, he said, would invest in a space-based missile defense layer, which will also fail in that day. The president said that the U.S. was a good player on the world stage, but that Washington could be far worse than anybody else if need be. And while this space-based missile defense system is going to be used against countries like Russia, first and foremost, it's to try to stop the chariots of the Most High from coming and destroying you Edomites, because these elites understand these prophecies and they know that the Most High is going to return in those chariots. So that's why they're building these space systems to try to avert that. But it's all futile. It's like a child going against a Navy SEAL. But not only does the U.S. have to worry about Russia, but China as well, as we'll see in this article on ZeroHedge.com. And again, back as it said in Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. These Chinese officials' heart is in mind is in the hand of the Most High to push for being more provocative towards the U.S., because they're also going to play a part in that coming destruction of the United States by nuclear missiles. New U.S. intelligence study: China already leads the world in key weapons technologies. A newly released Pentagon unclassified intelligence report authored by the Defense Intelligence Agency, or DIA, comes to some shocking and alarming conclusions concerning China's rapid advances in advanced military technology in answer to the question, what are Beijing's strategic intentions? The report finds that as a result of acquiring technology by any means available, especially in the areas of naval and missile systems, including intermediate range missiles and hypersonic weapons, which that U.S. general said the U.S. has no way to stop from hitting its targets. Capable of allowing missiles to travel at many times the speed of sound, China's defense tech is not only at the cutting edge, but in some areas it already leads the world. Skip through all this. Come to this little part at the end. This comes at a moment when tensions are soaring over the Taiwan question, which China sees as part of its territory. This week, a high-level Chinese military official, General Li Zuoqing, told the head of the United States Navy, Admiral John Richardson, in a face-to-face meeting that Beijing would defend its claims to Taiwan at any cost. Wars and rumors of wars. And according to The Guardian, China's new confidence and willingness to defend the claims has Pentagon leaders worried. Speaking to Pentagon reporters, a senior defense intelligence official said he was worried China's military is now advanced enough that PLA generals could feel confident that they could invade Taiwan. The biggest concern is that a lot of these technologies mature. China will reach a point where internally within their decision making they will decide that using military force for regional conflict is something that is more imminent, the official said on conditions of anonymity. Also of note is that the DIA report comments on China's rapidly developing stealth bomber program capable of striking regional and global targets. The report says the advanced jets could enter operational use by 2025 in what would be another huge milestone for the PLA, and of extreme worry to a U.S. military committed to continued sailing through the Taiwan Strait and other international waters routes near China. Slovakia. So as you can see, all these nations are gearing up for war. Now I'm going to go to Jeremiah 51, verse 1 through 2. Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon the United States, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind, that nuclear destruction. And I will send unto Babylon fanners, that they shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And who are those that will be against her round about? As I said earlier, countries like Russia and China, as well as the allies of the U.S. This is Jeremiah 50:9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, that north country being Russia, and they shall set themselves in array against her, From thence she shall be taken, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Those arrows being those nuclear missiles. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 7 through 10. How much she hath glorified herself, and this whole chapter is speaking of Babylon the Great, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Because you talk to these average peon Americans out here, and they think America's going to go on forever. The greatest nation on the planet Earth. Nobody's ever going to take down our military. Verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. Those 200 million nuclear missiles, as well as the laser beams from the chariots of the Most High. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And while all these nations around the earth hate America, they know that America is the place you come to, or you used to come to make a lot of money off of. That golden city, that American dream. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and in 1 hour will Babylon be completely destroyed from sea to shining sea, turning into that biblical lake of fire. And the only remembrance of Babylon after that destruction is going to be a memorial as to what a wicked rulership looks like and how not to govern the world. I'm going to close out with Isaiah 13, verse 19 through 20. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And what did the Most High overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah for? For their wickedness, such as homosexuality, lesbianism, and just complete freakism. And what is America's mainly known for today? Pushing for homosexuality rights, lesbianism, transgender rights, bestiality, pedophilia, all types of madness. Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. No man will ever set his foot on this smoking crater ever again. There will just be desert creatures. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. So brothers, as it said back in Isaiah 55 verse 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return unto me void. So these prophecies are quickly coming to their fulfillment, and with that being the case, you should have that fire in your spirit to make your calling and election sure. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified, and as always, I'm going to say Abba Ball, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.